Tried to do a video last night about this, and I didn't like the way it turned out. Not that I did anything wrong, but I didn't think the lighting was the greatest in it. So I'm going to do this again. Um, this is not a review of a pen. It is just me talking about it. And the person who made this possible, I want to say thank you. A few months ago, Raelyn Nelson was releasing her song Sick, and she asked people to promote the video for her. And of course, I'm a big fan of Raylan's work. Am a fan of her grandfather's. Was when I was really young, and I like what she's doing. I like what her whole family does, and I consider myself somebody that has been influenced by their kindness and generosity, and the way they write. I remember when I was in high school, there was a book I read that Willie Nelson said, don't let other people think that you're not good. F them if they don't, or something to those lines. In any effect, I shared her video, and she chose me. She chose me of all people, and I am very grateful for this. I thank her very much for the merchandise I'm going to be getting, and also she gave me a $100 gift certificate and one for Apple as well. So I thank you. The Apple thing got me thinking now. Her Uncle Lucas always talks about turn off the news and build a garden. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to be using the money to expand my garden. I'm going to have some more apple trees. I'm going to do a little bit more. And I'm very grateful for that. I want to have something that beautifies my area just as much as her music beautifies things. It's very simple to buy physical things and to buy them just because you want them or on a whim. And you can blow through a gift card very quickly just by doing stuff like that. But I want to do something meaningful with it, and that's what I'm going to do. There's going to be a lot of other things in here that are going to be nice for me, and I'll be thinking of her the entire time. One of the first things I'm going to do is have a metal container that I have my mint in, because mint has a tendency to trail under the ground. If I do it in a metal container, I can have a lot more of it, just like what I used to have that my grandmother gave me, and more that's the more hybrid types of mint. But for right now, we're not talking about mint. We're talking about what I actually did buy for myself. And Raylan made this very specific for me. She says she knows me because I said, "Hey, I'm going to use this for other people and charities and stuff." And she's like, "No, you're going to use this for yourself." And it got me to thinking about what I really could make the most of. I already have one of these pens. This is the box that the Conklin Duragraph comes in. Now, Duragraph is not like the old Duragraph that took a rubber ink sac that you would use powder on. The modern Duragraph is a cartridge converter pen, and it has its likes and dislikes of people. People say good things about it, people say bad things about it. I've seen both sides of it, and I agree. I agree. It is a very it's not a beginner pen in a lot of ways. You have to know what you're doing, and when it doesn't work, you have to know why it's not working and to correct it. Though the Conklin pens were created in 1898, this pen is a remake of one from the 1920s. It has all those antique stylized looks to it, and it has a number 6 nib. I already have one of these pens. I'm going to show you in blue. This is a limited edition one that I got, and I'm not as crazy about it as I thought I would be because of the color. I'm not a blue person. I like it. It's limited edition, but this one I'm going to like a lot more. Here's the type of nibs that these take. Now I have, in the blue one, I have a stub nib, which I can put in either of these. This one writes better, I believe, but this is a Bach nib, and I believe it's a medium. So one of the problems people have with these pens is the feeds, and that they don't keep up with the ink. A lot of it can be fixed. I'll talk about it briefly. Let's get to the pen. Like I said, it comes in this lovely box. Outer box. Inner box has gold stitching. It's like a leatherette. It's not real leather, I don't believe, but it has some really nice stitching to it. Don't mind the corn. That was for the squirrel. But you open it, you're left with this beautiful pen in amber. Now I chose amber because, like I said, I'd said to Raelyn that I wanted something that reminded me, and this isn't a natural light, but makes it really show the beauty of the pen. It shows the chiffoyance of it, and It reminds me, amber is something that, you can have a piece of amber that's millions of years old that has a bug in it. It doesn't ever really wear out, and it's very organic. It's very much alive. It reminds me a lot of those old flat top guitars that would have that same dark to orange coloring on them. So we're going to take that out for a minute. And underneath, when you get one of these, they give you really good instructions on them, and they give you two ink cartridges that you can use. You can either use cartridges or converters. I prefer converters. There's a threaded converter and there's a push-in converter and the ink cartridge. So it shows you three ways. This comes with the threaded, which is really nice because I think it makes a better seal. So we'll look at this for a moment here. It's a flat top pen, and there's a really nice clip on it. I think it's substantial. Of course, it's a Conklin. What do you expect? And as you turn the cap off, you can post the cap. I don't recommend it because even though this protects the pen on the cap from cracking, it can still crack. So we'll just leave that off to the side for now. You're left with the pen, and when you disassemble it, you have a converter, and here it is disassembled. You can see the converter on it. You can see the nib. I put a Bach fine in there, what's nice about this pen, I can put the fine, or I can use the stub nib. The stub nib you have to write a lot larger with. It gives you thinner upstrokes and wider cross strokes. So it gives you that line variation that you would have with like a chisel. This is a very fine nib, and you can see the plastic feed. Now these numbers mean nothing on it. It's just where on the place where they were made on the mold where that converter was. This was the fourth slot on that. But you can see that a lot of people find that they're dry, and what that winds up being is that a lot of these nibs are made specifically for this. These feeds are made specifically for these nibs, even though on most pens it's not that way. These are very finicky pens. I just took a hair off of the nib and was sitting on it. I goes to show you how it can affect the nib. Now what I do is I take the converter out when I first get these, and I have a little baby's ear syringe, like a ear bulb thing you clean a baby's ear out with a little bit of dish detergent and a little bit of hot water, and I keep running it through several times, cleaning it out, and then disassembling the nib, the feed, and drying everything, just in case there's any bit of oil left over that's residual from the process of them making it. But on any account, it's all inked up, it's ready to go, and my ink is Noodler's Midway Blue, which is World War II type of ink. One of the things I'll show you about these pens, like people will dip them in and fill them and say, oh, it writes great. Well, that's fine. You have ink in the feed, but if this feed eventually dries out because it's taking it from the converter, it will show you if there's any ink flow problems or not. You don't necessarily right away have that issue. So I've been playing with this, and I'm going to show you that it's keeping up, even on this cheap copy paper. Okay, which is going to feather a little bit. But I'll show you. I'm going to write my name. I always like doing that at the end. See that? Like a little sword. And you can reverse the nib too. And with this nib, it will work. Makes it do an extra fine. So you have something of this nature, a little bit finer. So one of the things I like about a fountain pen, not just that I can use the different inks, but that I can get two different types of a pen with it if it works. A lot of them don't, but this one will. It's a Bach nib, a German Bach nib. So we're going to write a little phrase here. It contains all the letters of the alphabet, so bear with me. It's stupid, it's silly. Everybody does this, but the quick brown fox jumps over the Lazy dog. So, okay. So if your pen does go dry, this does dry out, you have two options and two things will work. This is a lot of people don't know. You can take it apart and clean it, which in a lot of cases you might have dried ink in here that's blocking. Or take that feed and hold the pen up real carefully and uh, take that converter until you start to see ink come up in here and resaturate the feed. That's one of the things you can do with it. This pen, like I said, means a lot to me. This is my Raelyn pen. This can be one of those pens when I'm writing, signing a book, or anything I'm doing. I can think back to friendships like Raelyn and people that are artists like me that support one another, believe in one another. And I am definitely, definitely so very humbled by this gift to know that what it means to me. I'm glad to support Raelyn. I'm glad to support her song "Sick." It's a great song. The video is funny. They used ChatGPT to do the video script of what how to do the video. But this is the orange one, and this is amber, and it just reminds me of the '70s. You know, I'm a child of the '70s, so it's got that orange. I don't know. But in any account, Raelyn, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for believing in me as an artist when a lot of times growing up I didn't have that. Um, you really have a special band there. It's not just because your grandfather, it's because you have something that is real. And I encourage everybody to listen to Raelyn Nelson's music. It's kind of a cross between Loretta Lynn, they say, and Joan Jett. I can see it, but it's all Raelyn. You know, Raelyn is a great songwriter, and I'm really proud of her. Through all the adversities in her life and everything that's happened, she's always been true to who she is, and I'm very grateful and thank you again. And check out Raelyn's video, Sick. I'll link it in the description below. Bye.